Voice of the Republic. Star Wars discussion and editorial radio. Now here's Joel, Mike, and Ed.
VOR's back. And Ed is crouching. Stand up. Stand up. Sorry.
Ed got his hand up my ass.
Thank you, Jeff. Anytime. Bye. Bye.
Ed, the avian finger banger. If you like her, bang her. If you like her, bang her. Did you bang her?
What?
No, don't you like her? Go ahead.
Finger banger.
Finger banger. Why don't y'all just tell us about Rogue One? Oh, here's an idea. Here's an idea. Just tell us Rogue One.
Yeah, I'm going to save you guys some butt. Carl and I were going to save you guys $10 to $12 a piece.
Oh my God, it's the best idea for a podcast. Hi, I'm Mike Wagner, and I saw Rogue One. This is it. Opening exterior.
Yeah. Imagine, if you will, a screen.
Right.
Blackness.
Tell the whole movie.
Starfield. All right. Should I jump in first real quick?
Well, when I saw it, I got to be completely fair to it. I had just come off working overnight because I'm working a movie theater now, in case anyone watching doesn't keep up with my personal life. So I actually got in at like midnight. No, it was like 10 o'clock is when I got in. It was for like one of the earlier showings of the day. Then I worked all the way till 6 a.m. We, for some reason, decided to show Star Wars every hour on the hour all night. 1 o'clock rolled around, no one came in. Like, it was ghost town. So I had like about 5 hours, and I was just dragging ass. So I went in to see the movie at 6 o'clock, promptly fell asleep about halfway through it. I mean, like, take that what you will. Like, I was a little tired, but honestly, I wasn't that captivated by it either.
That's why you said you might want to see it again before the show.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Yeah, because like we were talking about playing this show, and I was like, oh, I'd really like to see it again because people were talking about a castle. I was like, I didn't see any fucking castle. I was asleep. It's like I apparently missed like 45 minutes of the movie. I think I have no idea how long I was out, but I just felt it was kind of boring and it was kind of generic, and it felt like you could have taken that story and dropped it in World War II era Europe and changed like the main character to Indiana Jones, and it would have been an Indiana Jones film. You know, I mean, it's like it just would have been Nazis instead of the Empire.
Yeah, and I mean that is what they were going for. You know, my personal feelings aside, they wanted to have that feel of like the old World War II movies, like, you know, A Bridge Too Far and movies like that, where you have this ragtag group of people who you get to know, and they have these amazing personalities that, you know, then they go through this adventure together. Some of them die along the way, but eventually they achieve their goal. And that's the bigger picture, is that they sacrificed for these ideals and for this lost cause, right? Mm-hmm. I get it. And that's what they went for. Totally appreciate that. However, what I saw was a movie I was on board with because I got that. I got the feels. You know, I got some Star Wars feels. They kept the tech on point. Nobody did any, like, you know, fucking Minority Report screens for no reason. Buttons were buttons. Switches were like, you know, it was great. Lots of practical effects. Again, brilliant. Stormtroopers are back. That's all good stuff. They make you care. It's the first Star Wars movie where they did a great job of having you learn everyone's name. And when you learn someone's name, you get invested in them. So they did a great job of really nailing, this is their name, this is her name, this is this guy's name. They take you all the way up to the end. Big spoiler, everybody dies. Everybody dies. And the people who I go head-to-head with on this, who love this movie, are like, right, they made the big sacrifice for the rebellion. That's the takeaway. Isn't that great? I'm like, no, because there's no hope. And Star Wars is a movie about hope, all of them.
Yeah.
No one to walk away and tell the tale. I don't care. So I was with it all the way to the end, and I'm looking around like, wait, are they really going to just kill like fucking everybody, including the droid? And they did. So if you want to see how they did it, please, by all means, go see the movie. It could be a lot of fun because I was with it all the way up to that point. You know, the other argument is like, no. The people that survive, you know, they get the Death Star plans, they hand it to Rebels, the Rebels hand it to Leia. You actually see the fucking handoff. We don't need to see that. It's kind of like what Joel was talking about earlier, where, I don't know, there's like a desire that is born of the internet. There's like a generation of nerds who have no imagination and like thrive on Wikipedia or something. Like they need all the details. Joel used to complain about this all the time on classic VOR of like, why does everything need a fucking name? Why can't he just be a guy in the back? But no, he needs a name. He needs a history. There's people that need to know this shit. So for them, they apparently need to see every behind the scenes detail from the handoff of Rebels physically handing a thumb drive with the Death Star plans on it to Leia, all the way to what was Vader up to this whole time? Let's catch up with him too in his fucking chalet, you know, on Mustafar, which is a concept that just keeps getting abandoned every time Star Wars is made because it's like, no, that's too melodramatic and shitty. But no, now we've got Castle Darth Skull. But that was it. Like, I was in it. I forgave a lot of the fan service, like the castle. I liked the droid that was ripped off from, what's his name? Plunkett? Kelly Plunkett?
Yeah, Pop Bot from Ashley Wood.
Yeah, Ashley Wood. I was in it to the end, and then my girlfriend and I walked out of there, and we both had the same reaction was, well, you just wasted my time. Because now I care nothing. And some people are like, no, but I know what you mean. But if you see it a second time, which the worst argument for something that's shitty, if you see it a second time, I liked it better the second time. Like, well, yeah, because you told yourself that everybody gets to live again because you saw it a second time.
Well, yeah, I like the now in our Netflix era where people go, you know, that it really picks up on the 8th episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I've got
the first 2 seasons, Joel. Just go to
the best.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. It really picks up on that. Bands don't get that. Bands don't get that. Their third if you just wait till their third record, okay, because I'm going to buy these 2 turds first. Right.
Yeah.
Like this, and this is the thing. Everybody, this is the way it is today. Everyone wants it now, and everyone aspires to be a critic. Right. Everyone aspires. Everyone fancies themselves a critic, which means your goal is to hate it. You're like,
the easiest way is singing food on the internet.
I mean, this is where like, and we're guilty of it too, where opinion becomes content.
Mm-hmm. Opinion can be content, but like most of us, or at least half of us, like literally half of us went to art school where we would have actual critiques. Critique means you're not just shitting on a thing, you're also talking about the positives and or ways to improve it. And I think VOR has been really fair.
I say that we're part of that, but the signal to noise,
Yeah, but most people don't know how to critique, and they don't have anything to offer, and they don't know how to create. And if you're boring and you don't know how to create, you complain.
Yeah.
That's the internet.
But that's just people in general. And
no, you're right.
And that's what you get. And and I don't know if it's always been this way. I'd like to believe that there are people, or there was a time when there were people that were out there that would say, "Hey, you want to go see a movie? Okay. Hey, what'd you think? Oh, that was fun." Like, it feels like the obsession should come like later, or it should be like an unspoken thing. But now it's not. It's the goal is like, it's funny. I was mentioning to Joel, I was in Target a while ago, and they were selling these bathrobes for Harry Potter. There's Harry Potter bathrobes. It was like a burgundy Gryffindor, and it has an H and blazoned in the back. And I was just kind of walking through and looking for a shirt, and there's this kind of, she's speaking a little louder than the din, and it's a girl. I'd say she's in her mid-20s, and she's got like her dumpy boyfriend there, eats her pussy, and the whole time she's, You know, I would get this if it didn't have the H, because I love like the Harry Potter series. I love Harry Potter. I don't like Harry. Harry's a boring character. And I'm looking at her, and I'm just thinking to myself, you are shut up. Like, that's the stupidest thing. Like, no one, first off, you're talking loud so everyone hears that you say that you don't like Harry Potter. Well, look at you. Like, get your hair cut, dumbass.
Yeah, you're willing to spend $40 to $50 on a plush robe. But if only it wasn't about Harry. I love everything about Harry Potter except Harry Potter.
Right, exactly. But I'm saying her opinion matters, and I'm thinking, I'm a 44-year-old man. I'm looking at you're a young person, and you don't even know how to dress. You don't even know anything about fashion, so I think you're stupid. Like, if you don't know anything about fashion, then fuck you.
Well, here's another factor about... I'm sorry. To your rant.
And it seems like the people with the wonderful opinions can't even dress themselves out of a paper bag and still go out in public. I think there should be there should be critics. There should be people who critique critics. And harshly. I want them to say damaging things so that these people go home and they're like, I'm not having a second helping, or no drinks for me tonight, or they're gonna go home and they're gonna just burn all their books and buy new shit.
Yeah.
Fuck, I want to inject fear and angst and lots of self tearing apart shit into these people because they deserve it. They deserve to suffer.
Okay, we'll be Metacritics.
I hate it.
We'll sit through critic the 10 worst ever videos. We'll sit through those and just complain about them.
It's killed critics.
10 worst ever videos.
And I think it's really funny because I think we, as this group here specifically, we have a very interesting insight to this because we're all podcasters and we've all podcasted for a while, and we all were there towards the beginning of podcasting when not everyone had a podcast, and it was actually kind of hard and took some effort to get it up online. There wasn't all the free tools like there is now, even though TalkShoe was a free tool and everything, but it's it wasn't good. It was hard to use, it's there was always these limitations, and now just anyone can go on YouTube and just be a critic. And it's kind of interesting to see be on the inside and see that, because it's to the point now that anytime people are oh, what have you done over the years? I was well, I was a musician, I was a writer. It's I don't even bother mentioning a podcast anymore because you say I have a podcast, and it's well, everyone had a podcast. I'm well,
right.
It's
funny,
not a thing.
But people do actually, when we started, podcasting was a speed bump, it was it was a curiosity, and then it just kind of the same time we were moving away from VOR was the same time it was a lull. Podcasting is the shit right now. So whenever I mentioned podcast, I was I don't know, oh, how do you know about this? Why do you have a microphone? I'm blah, blah, blah podcast. Because I'm with you. I'm well, it's something we used to do. They're wait, you have a show? How long have you been doing this? I'm I don't know, 10 years. 10 years? How do I not know this? What's your show? Give me all the info. They get so fucking excited. That's how I met Shannon Kaysen of Homemade Stories and NPR fame, because I was at a meeting for something totally separate, and as we were introducing each other, I mentioned podcast. The whole room was oh, what's your podcast? And he's yo, we'll talk after my thing. All right? I'm yeah. Okay, and we talk shop about podcasts. So because we're into it.
Everyone does it now, literally everyone. So
I know. I mean, Joel had a makeup fucking tutorial.
I totally missed that.
I mean, there's a lot of them out there.
All right, we'll link to it at the end of the show.
And then well, everything is content nowadays. But I don't know if I've talked to you guys about this because this happened last year, but there was one article from one of those BuzzFeed or whatever, and I about died because the name of the article was 47 problematic things with The Force Awakens, and just did you even watch the movie? Were you feverishly writing 47 problems that you had with this movie with space swords? I don't know. I just imagine this guy. Oh my God, they're talking in space, and
this font is atrocious.
Yeah, I didn't look at the article, but I just thought it was funny. 40, because there were more, and he probably
He had to print it down to his best 47. I have a list of like 152. I got to pare this down to at least 50.
There's a bunch of movies on Netflix of like 74 cute animals. It's like some arbitrary number, but there's a whole bunch of them. And just like, who fell on this number? Like, is it someone's favorite number or?
At least 42 makes sense. Like if whatever,
yeah, of course.
Or like a round. Yeah, Mikey and I like it's not like we've been avoiding Rogue One.
No, I
it's like I'd like to see, but yeah, it just hasn't come up. It just hasn't come up in the schedule. But
Sure.
one kind of bummer was like I was like thinking, well, if you wait too long, it's just gonna be gone, and then like in March we'll just see it on DVD. But pardon me, Blu-ray. But one thing I thought was weird was that I was really taken with all the commercials, with all the trailers, because this Gareth Edwards dude, like I like his work. Like, I like the idea of his Godzilla film, but his Godzilla film was a stinker.
Mm-hmm. Is that with Cranston?
Huh?
The one with Cranston? Bryan Cranston?
Yeah. And like you know, it's like I love the design of Godzilla himself, but there was a lot of weird shit in that movie that just kind of fell flat.
Yeah.
So, but there were all these great visuals in the trailer, and then you come to find out that he filmed a bunch of stuff just to look cool, and it's not in the movie at all. And that's what ended up in a lot of the trailers.
Fuck you.
And so on one hand, I'm like, well, that's really cool. But then on another hand, I'm like, well, then what am I getting?
Right.
True.
And so, yeah, like, and it also kind of rolls down to, is this a story that even needs to be told? I mean, like,
exactly. Yeah.
The one kind of neat thing, judging from the trailers, is that like it looks like a true war setting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know, like cinematography wise, like we're really getting into like a real like war shots, and I think that will look great.
absolutely.
Yeah, like the last half hour of the film is just fucking battle, and it's like it's good. It's like it's very well shot. Like good action, like you said, it looks like a war film, and again, like that's kind of what I was saying is you could basically drop this into any setting and it would have been the same film. You know, it's like it was really well shot, and it was a lot of good action at the end, especially like when you got the ships flying over and like people trying to take the beachhead and like all that different stuff, and it feels like Saving Private Ryan in space. You know, it's
I really like seeing all of the palm tree imagery in the marketing,
and in this 2-foot ocean.
Yeah. The vacation towing stormtroopers. It's pretty great.
I really like the palm trees.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too.
Yeah, if it like you know, like were I to gripe just looking at the book, the cover of this book, kind of get wiggly about seeing stormtroopers that we never see after.
Yeah, that's a whole nother issue.
You know, and like it's like, yeah, we've got the Black Death Troopers, which someone tried to tie into that zombie book. Remember that? Because those were Death Troopers too. So now they're trying to, because I guess none of those black troopers took their helmets off. So, you know, someone goes, you know, they're zombies, right? Because there was an entire book about it. And just that makes me die inside. You know, I lost 24 points of soul for that. My counter just ran down.
Yeah.
And so there's some really cool stormtrooper types in there, like those tank guys and everything. But then we never see them again.
Yeah, and it's not like a prequel thing where they're so far,
right?
You know, away from OT where you can excuse these experimental troopers, like seeing a variety of clone troopers. You know, that's a long time ago. So having these different divisions all over the galaxy, that makes sense. But now we've got like a funky AT-AT we've never seen. We got funky TIE fighters we've never seen. A host of stormtroopers, including these black stormtroopers, which are just Star Wars porn that we've never seen and we never see again.
But, you know, to be fair, we have that in the original trilogy also. Like, every single trooper that you see on Hoth, you never see them again. Like, they just show up. Like, the Empire clearly has very specialized units that they only use in very specialized situations.
And that's the context of winter and snow. So you're like, okay, that's what snow troopers
But, you know, and then in this one, we have, like, oh, they're going out on a tropical island. So, you know, they have to wear sarongs and like, leis.
Coconuts on there.
Yeah.
That's why I'll almost forgive the quote unquote death troopers because Mover and Shaker, Captain White Cape. You can say that they're his dudes.
Yeah, they're supposed to be his special honor guard or whatever.
And then they get wiped out. We never see him again. Awesome.
Yeah, like a vanity trooper.
Right. Like these are my chic troopers, and
yeah.
Don't they look badass? Look, their pockets are filled with bones of children.
Yeah.
Teeth.
Yeah. Well, there's another aspect that really bothered me, even right after seeing it, which is back to the toys and the marketing, right? I mean, I had an issue when Anakin Skywalker was showing up on kids' party plates. Why are you putting a fucking psycho murderer who becomes the pinnacle of evil on a party plate? And it's him, like, looking dark with his Brock hair and his lightsaber out. And he's just like, right? Like, happy birthday, Johnny! Terrible mixed messages. Just, what's your point? This is terrible. So now this one, you take your kids to see a Star Wars movie. You bought them all the toys. Your daughter wants to be Jyn Erso. She's got the gear on. She's watching this movie, and everybody dies. Good luck playing that with your friends. What's the fucking point? How many times can you kill all these main characters? Nothing. There's no takeaway. There's nothing good to take away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I kind of knew that these characters wouldn't be seen again.
Mm-hmm.
And that they do it. That they actually get the plans to.
I know. I mean, you can argue there's no point to make any.
No, but it kind of stinks that. I mean, that's one of the reasons that it doesn't make it compelling to even kind of other than just like, well, it's going to be a fun movie. I know it's going to be a fun movie no matter what, but. Yeah, it's just like, did this particular story need to be told?
They were hit with a makeover, Ray, or everyone was burned, and I'm trying to think an alternative to death to keep them out of the next batch of films. But other than like makeovers,
like the nude bomb,
burn scars.
Yeah,
I did want to talk about one thing about inclusion. About that, like a lot of people really like that there were like the.
Like the diverse cast.
Yeah, that that there's but on one hand, like I don't want to take anything away that like Randall Trang, a buddy of mine, he was really happy that they're now Asians in space. And I'm like, well, those guys aren't Asian. they're not from Asia. I mean, they're from whatever planet, But but one thing that like what I don't know the character's name. It's the captain.
Cassian.
Okay.
Captain Ching Chong.
Not Captain Ching Chong. but the captain kept his Spanish accent, and so I was reading this one thing about that this one dude, his dad went to go see the movie and was like so happy that like that like a major character had his accent, and I was like, well, that's really cool. And then I was like thinking, well, I don't have cable, but like every other channel that I've got on Rabbit Ears is either like a Christian channel or a Spanish. If you can't find a TV show with a guy with a Spanish accent, you're not looking very hard.
No, it's not about that, but this is Star Wars. And if you love Star Wars and you are represented, it means so much because especially sci-fi, it's such a white male dominated genre. Video games too. Holy shit! I'm playing Mad Max. It's like they didn't even show these guys the movie because this Mad Max is such a misogynistic white dude. You're in Australia. Apparently, none of the Aborigines made it. I'm sorry. Only white people survived whatever apocalypse happened.
Yeah.
Fucking shit.
That's what would happen anyway.
Well, we don't have to say that.
Okay.
They're not supposed to know, Mike.
See, here's the thing, though. Is I'm going to make the point. I believe the Aborigines would be more likely to survive than the white people because they're used to surviving off the shitty parts of the land already.
That's what I'm saying.
Good point. Did you know
knowledge.
Aborigines can just die if they want to? They can just lay down and die.
I don't know about that.
What does that mean?
So I'm gonna go back on my track here.
No, I was just.
No, but for real, if someone who feels marginalized in any way, whether you are Latino or Black or Asian or a woman, when you see someone on screen, oh my God, that means so much. So people were crapping on like, oh, we just had 2 women in a row from Disney's new Star Wars pictures.
Are we talking about 7-year-olds though? Like,
more?
I
No.
don't care.
I'm talking 37, 47.
People
It ain't the kids that are bitching.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, hey, like, I'm all for like, you know what? Like, I want to see more big guys that aren't the I'm hungry or oh, I'm clumsy.
Right. I mean, the Maori dude, he had a lot of armor, but I'm like, he was bigger than most, you know? He wasn't the Rock. He didn't take off his armor. He's like, I'm going to take this fucking Star Destroyer down. He didn't
like
that.
I've got to draw those 2 guys. The Asian gunner and then Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
It's like there's one thing that like kind of cracks me up is that everybody wants him to be gay so bad.
Oh, come on.
And just like babies, it'll happen. But like, you know what? Like really, like I know this is like kind of weird to go back to, but you know when Anakin woke up in a sweat on Naboo without a shirt?
Wasn't that awkward?
I thought that went over. I thought that was like too much skin for Star Wars.
Or nipple.
You know, that upset me. That's like, oh my God, now there's a weird precedent.
Well, he's in bed. He's sweaty. You can't see his hands. You just see his bare shoulders, and he's just going, oh.
It just like I thought that was weird.
What
Like, as far as I like, you know, like I know that like a lot of people want to bring sexuality into it, but as far as I know, Han lays eggs. You know,
Yeah.
you know, like the females in the Star Wars universe don't even give birth. You know, it's just like, hang on, there you go, you lay on it. So, who knows? Well, until Luke and Leia, literally, she pooped them out, named them, and died. Luke, Leia.
Maybe that's how it goes in that universe. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that lost the will to live. We've got hyperspace, laser swords.
We can access the information on the biology
These shrimp
of
fried
1,000
rice.
different alien races, but we just couldn't save her because she was so sad.
She was too sad.
Maybe she's Aborigine.
But like I was talking about that if they do ever what's the name of that book? There is a book, Aftermath or something that Chuck Wendig.
Oh, After MASH? Yeah, that's all right.
No. There's a Force Unleashed book, and it is like the most ham-handed because like there's a lesbian character in the way that they go about describing it, it just is so not Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
that it's like they're going way out of their hand. Like she likes chicks, and just it doesn't fit with Star Wars. So like Mikey and I were talking about this that you know everyone was like really really pushing for Finn and Poe.
Yeah.
You know and just like well just because he like was amazed that the kid survived doesn't mean. You know, like
they had a look.
Yeah, dudes can be friends. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't think he was giving you know the.
No, I don't think so either.
But anyway, but like I think that like you know I mean like if Star Wars is gonna do it, don't telegraph it that like I would have loved to seen at the end of Endor, Wedge like you know like they're getting off the ships and they're just showing up at the Ewok village.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to seen like Wedge like run across and just hug a dude over there and just like it's like oh
Too long.
Wedge has a boyfriend, you know, and like they don't spell it out.
Grabs a male technician and does the war is over dip.
No, or they're sitting
don't-
around the big fire and he just puts his head on Biggs' shoulder.
Because even kissies are kind of like weird in the Star Wars universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's not about that. Like there's relationships and people were arguing about the Finn and Rey chemistry. They're like, I don't get it. I don't really see it. I think they're gay anyway. So I'm like, I got chemistry from those two. What's going to happen next? I don't know. But Star Wars isn't that kind of sexual drama. It's a space opera. And
but unfortunately, I think due to fan content, I think that they're going to start pushing. And the only thing that I ask is, you don't have to scream it. You can be
right.
Because I tried to. Everyone kept on talking about that Chuck Wendig book being like so good, and apparently like Poe Dameron's parent. It's like they fought at the Battle of Endor and all that. But the way it was written just wasn't Star Warsy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, people recommend a lot of books to us, and I'm like,
yeah. And like I thought that this was like the new book that was going to start it all off again. Where like everyone had like this was kind of the reset book. And
yeah,
thumb down, fart sound.
You know what I think would be really cool is if Finn and Rey were brother and sister. Because in space, ladies are like cats. So if she like bangs one guy, she can have that kind of baby, and then she bangs another guy, she has another kind of baby, like a cat. And you just have a whole litter of people, and just explain the fuck out of that shit. Come on, man. But like one day you put your jacket over my shoulders when I was chilly, and it was nice.
I wish that Adam Driver, when he took his helmet off, he had one space bun. To prove, because how would we know? How would we know otherwise?
Isn't it weird how Star Wars fans have to be like? It's awesome that Star Wars fans have to be walked through everything and like almost every single detail. Like it's almost like when you're like a little kid and your mom decides, oh, I'm gonna give him a themed birthday party, and so she goes, oh well, Mikey likes Superman, so she bought the Superman plates, but she didn't spend the money on the Superman napkins and tablecloths. She went and bought red and yellow and blue stuff, and then added the plates. So you get the party, but it's not all Superman, but it feels like Superman. Well, you can't do that kind of smudging in Star Wars. It's like Han comes from Han planet where it's Han stuff, and then everyone's kind of put into their box, and every single little detail has to be spelled out and fucking magical. Like there can't be a mundane.
Mm-hmm.
And people are either enemies or lovers or brothers.
Yeah, it's like we never, like Walrus Man, we never need to know his name.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Never need. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is such an old thing. And the fact that we're still like, it's still the same things. It's like Star Wars was always going to have something wrong with it.
Go back to Force Awakens for 1 second.
Yeah.
Han and Leia kind of talk about it, that, the it that broke them up, and everyone assumes that it was like, their son.
Mm-hmm.
What if it was just one really bad drunken weekend?
No, to do a Star Wars to it, he was banging that chick who plays the Silver Stormtrooper.
Han Solo and Captain Phasma?
Yeah.
So,
that's the only other girl in the movie.
Why
right?
she didn't take her helmet off when they met?
She had hickeys all over. It's unprofessional.
Someone was trying to connect the dots on Rey's mother being Phasma, and just like that is
would be
like,
so.
Are you?
That would be great.
Well, the worst part is that they're not allowing the story to be told. They're looking at what's in front of them, which is a handful of new characters and all the old characters. So right away they're like, "Oh, Finn must be Lando's kid," because there's only one black guy in space. Like,
right.
That's why I think that they should make Finn and Rey brother and sister. Fucking fuck it.
Well,
don't ever explain it.
Yeah.
Well, the one I totally lost one. No, I just lost it.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well, that's enough Rogue One talk for today. And just like the movie, we're just going to end it.
And we're all dead.
Yeah, and then we all died.
The end.
We live in reruns, and we'll be back tomorrow because holy shit, we have a whole nother show to do about the future. Not your future, but like we're gonna get real nerdy on this one. I hope. Maybe.
Okay.
But till then, be sure to visit VORRadio.com.
V. Happy.
That's life.
Look at Taylor Mike.
Itadakimasu.
Oh, Joel's about to eat.
Yep. Pussy.
I'm so glad I was the only one in this room who said pussy today.
Well, I was trying to get it out there before Mikey got to it.
Fucking, like,
Because Mikey's got that gun is armed. It is ready, chambered and ready to go.
shit.